I found out from TMZ literally 2 hours ago that I have been subpoenaed. I'm not crying, you're crying. You were a bad person. Truly, that was that from the bottom of my heart. I think you and Ryan are bad people. There is nobody involved. Nobody has ever been involved in making me come to that conclusion.
Candace Owens just dropped a bombshell that Blake Lively's legal team never saw coming. She exposed their entire PR stunt, revealing Blake leaked the subpoena to TMZ before it was even served. Imagine finding out you're involved in a high-stakes legal battle, not from official court documents, but from a celebrity gossip site. This wasn't justice, it was a desperate pre-planned media manipulation to control a collapsing narrative. Blake and Ryan Reynolds believed they could weaponize the media, but Candace just turned their own game against them in spectacular fashion. The silence was deafening after that reveal.
Spectacularly.
This headline, it says that Perez Hilton and me were subpoenaed, and then the ... working with Baldoni?
This entire chaotic saga began with Blake Lively, the woman who meticulously crafted an entire persona as America's perfect sweetheart, married to the internet's so-called funny man, Ryan Reynolds. She seemed to believe she could stride into court, wield impressive legal jargon, and convince everyone she was the victim of a grand conspiracy involving internet trolls and YouTubers. But the universe and a few truth-tellers had other plans for her carefully curated fairy tale. Her image was about to crumble faster than a stale movie set.
It's a fishing expedition because she wants to know now who's talking trash about her. Wake up, sweetheart. It's everyone. Everyone dislikes you.
You know Blake.
Enter Candace Owens, precisely the last person Blake Lively wanted pulled into this Hollywood circus. Candace isn't one to follow a pre-written script, especially not a flimsy, celebrity-backed one. The moment Blake's legal team tried to flex their muscles, Candace arrived armed with receipts so embarrassing they could make Ryan Reynolds' last 5 Deadpool promos look tame by comparison. Blake thought she was calling the shots, but Candace was about to rewrite the entire narrative.
Me, okay, my lawyer, oh, you're not involved in this lawsuit. Haha, joke's on you, Noah. Joke's on you, because now you've got to read by subpoena and figure out what happens next. I mean, this is crazy times, you guys. It's like we're living in a simulation.
Blake's so-called coordinated smear campaign story collapsed into pure comedy gold. She had been running around claiming that figures like Justin Baldoni and Wayfair Studios teamed up to destroy her image, as if her public persona was flawless before this mess. Never mind the awkward robotic interviews and diva reputation that already made her prime material for internet scrutiny. Blake's narrative was always going to hit a wall, and now it was crumbling spectacularly.
Perez Hilton, Candace Owens, and Andy Senior have all been subpoenaed to turn over any and all communications with Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer parties.
Apparently, this whole situation started because Blake believes some shadowy internet alliance is out to get her. According to her lawsuit, Justin Baldoni, the same Baldoni facing a $400 million countersuit, is supposedly collaborating with every content creator, journalist, and random person with Wi-Fi to ruin her career. Since accountability apparently doesn't exist in Blake's dictionary, rather than admitting her public missteps are self-inflicted, she blames the entire internet. The delusion was palpable.
We're not going to allow her to have access to every text message and email pertaining to her and Ryan Reynolds and Wayfarer Studios because she watched me live say, now that I'm interested in this story, which my interest began on January 25th.
But it gets truly bizarre. Blake's paranoia has reached Olympic levels, demanding emails, texts, and documentation about herself, including conversations about her hair products. Yes, her actual shampoo and conditioner. Imagine being so obsessed with your public image that you genuinely think random mentions of your beauty routine are part of a malicious smear campaign. It screams celebrity breakdown, a clear case of someone who believes their fame makes them untouchable. This wasn't about justice, it was pure vanity.
Judge's order earlier this month allowing Blake to take discovery in order to uncover the alleged lengths, if any, that Baldoni's side may have gone to in working with notable anti-Blake content creators as part of the alleged smear campaign.
Speaking of bad decisions, Ryan Reynolds' involvement here is peak comedy. Here's a guy who built an entire brand pretending to be the internet's funny, relatable husband, all while secretly coordinating with TMZ to clean up Blake's courtroom disaster. He tweets jokes about aviation gin and Deadpool, but behind the scenes, his PR teams are hitting media outlets faster than he can sell another overpriced mobile plan. Watching Ryan try to spin this situation is more painful than his last rom-com flop, a desperate attempt to maintain an illusion.
Obviously, she knows for a fact that we are not going to allow her to have access to every text message and email pertaining to her and Ryan Reynolds and Wayfarer Studios because she watched.
The real highlight of this mess arrived when Candace Owens exposed how she found out about Blake's sneaky subpoena. It wasn't through any official legal process, of course, it was TMZ. At exactly 2:11 p.m. Eastern, TMZ emailed Candace's PR team asking for comment on a subpoena she hadn't even received yet. Imagine learning you're allegedly involved in a legal case, not from the courts, but from the same outlet that treats Kardashian baby names as breaking news. The lack of professionalism was staggering.
Producer
Owens and Senor have all used their sizable digital platforms to discuss case developments, and the trio's commentary has largely hated on Blake's claims while propping up Baldoni.
at exactly
Candace's team clapped back within 10 minutes, exposing the entire setup for what it truly was, a pre-planned PR stunt by Blake's team, likely orchestrated between sips of green juice and anxious text chains with Ryan. Just 6 minutes later, TMZ published their hit piece, complete with dramatic framing and Candace's face plastered everywhere. They claim to have written, edited, fact-checked, and published an entire article in 6 minutes. Totally believable, right? Hollywood's narrative control was fully exposed.
Out to see if Ms. Owens has any comment on being subpoenaed in the Lively Baldoni case. Thank you for your time.
Candace called it exactly what it was, fake, staged, and sloppy, just like Blake's entire lawsuit. TMZ's little performance proved that Hollywood's elite will use any tool to control narratives, even turning celebrity gossip blogs into legal mouthpieces. And who's caught squarely in the middle? Ryan Reynolds, the human embodiment of stale Twitter jokes and overhyped gin commercials, pulling the strings while pretending to be oblivious. Their carefully constructed image was starting to crumble under its own weight.
Back within 10 minutes and wrote to him, "Hi Ryan, thank you. Can you send a copy of the subpoena to us? Candace has not been served. We cannot comment if we have not seen."
What makes this situation even more delicious is how quickly Blake's smear campaign theory crumbles under basic logic. Blake claims the internet turned against her as part of some grand conspiracy, but let's be real. The internet has been roasting her and Ryan for months simply because their curated picture-perfect images are faker than Ryan's skincare ads. No elaborate plot required, just public opinion finally catching up with entitled celebrities who couldn't handle real criticism. Karma was clearly at play.
This has not been served. We cannot comment if we have not seen what she will be served. Like, obviously, somebody gave this, and by somebody, I mean clearly this is a Leslie Sloan, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds PR strategy. I've been telling you for a long time.
Blake's desperation shows at every turn. Her PR team leaks a subpoena to TMZ before it's even delivered, scrambling to push a false narrative through headlines faster than Ryan can cash another Netflix check. And through it all, Candace Owens continues to expose every sloppy, staged, insecure move they make. Hollywood loves to act untouchable, but Blake and Ryan's empire is cracking. This isn't just a lawsuit, it's a front row seat to a celebrity meltdown in real time.
By the way that you bullied Justin Baldoni. Like, we read it and we feel passionate about this case, and we're teaming up in the way that every parent and mother and woman and child that has been following this just wants to see justice brought to Justin Baldoni.
Candace Owens literally aired her own messages in front of millions, demonstrating her confidence that Blake's conspiracy theory was pure nonsense. The only time Candace ever mentioned Blake before this entire legal circus? A 2019 message with a heart eyes emoji over Blake's engagement ring. Yes, a single heart eyes emoji. That's the entire evidence Blake is clinging to, treating it like some criminal smoking gun. Imagine being so obsessed with your own fame that you twist a 5-year-old compliment into proof of a smear campaign.
So first and foremost, right off the bat, you should know what they're saying is stupid. They're putting in this piece, Popcorned Planet and Candace have been covering this lawsuit, and they have not been favorable to Blake Lively. Okay, so?
Between 2019 and August 2024, Candace literally never mentioned Blake again. Zero. Nothing. Nada. So unless Candace was secretly conspiring in total silence for 5 years, Blake's idea of a years-long plot is as fake as Ryan Reynolds pretending he's relatable on Twitter. When Candace finally did mention Blake, it was a 5-minute news segment in August 2024 about Blake acting condescendingly toward journalist Kirsten Flaw. That wasn't a deep state smear campaign. It was Blake's own viral interview making her look bad.
Now, I've received my subpoena from Blake Lively today. I'll tell you what is in it, because in my opinion, she's kind of admitting that she cannot prove that there was a smear campaign.
Blake's entire legal strategy is unraveling faster than Ryan's last PR stunt. Her team is demanding emails, messages, and tip-offs from May 1st, 2024, onward. Yes, onward. That means she's asking for evidence from after the supposed smear campaign already occurred. Make that make sense. You can't claim you were destroyed by an internet conspiracy, then request proof from after your brand supposedly crashed and burned. That's not how reality works, Blake. But then again, neither she nor her husband has exactly been grounded in reality for a long time.
Something must be hidden, because they still believe that the public is still stupid to comprehend what's happening here. This is effectively a PR strategy. Of course, we are going to say, we're not giving up all the people that gave us information. She knows that I have a source.
Candace immediately called it what it is, a fishing expedition, plain and simple. It's not about justice, it's about intimidation. Blake is demanding access to over 10,000 emails, many containing anonymous tips from regular people who saw through the Hollywood facade. This violates every basic rule of journalist source protection. But of course, Blake doesn't care. When your image is tanking and your overpaid PR teams are in meltdown mode, you'll do anything to control the narrative. The sheer arrogance was astounding.
What are you trying to prove here? If there's a smear campaign happening against you now? Yeah, we all read your words. We read your messages. We read your Khaleesi Dragons, and we're kind of sickened by the way that you bullied Justin Baldoni.
Candace, however, isn't backing down. She's willing to comply with requests for anything dated before Blake filed her lawsuit. But after that, Blake isn't getting a single source, a single tip, not one word from the flood of information people sent once they realized Hollywood royalty isn't so squeaky clean. You'd think Blake would understand how journalism works, but maybe she's too busy obsessing over Reddit threads about her hair products to figure that part out. The internet, it turns out, has a long memory.
By your subpoena as it pertains to any time before you filed your lawsuit, but you are not getting access to 10,000 emails for your fishing expedition so you can find out who leaked to me about Scott Swift. That's ridiculous.
Blake's legal overreach is dragging innocent people into this mess too. YouTuber Andy Sinare from Popcorn Planet got pulled into the drama, despite no connection to Baldoni or Candace. Logic abandoned the moment Blake equated internet criticism with criminal conspiracy. Watching wealthy, fragile celebrities play detective while their carefully curated image disintegrates is astonishing. Every TMZ leak, every subpoena demand, and every panicked interview underscores the sheer desperation of their crumbling empire.
Feminists are mean. It's just something I've noticed. These modern feminists are mean to other women. So I covered it, 5 minutes of all of 2024, and she thinks that I was part of some inside baseball smear campaign against her. I mean, this is wacky. This is totally Hollywood.
The irony here is delicious. The more Blake tries to control the story, the more ridiculous she appears. Every new subpoena, every PR maneuver, and every tweet meant to spin the narrative backfires, exposing the cracks in her fragile empire. Ryan clinging to his Deadpool shtick can't save her from the implosion. This isn't a smear campaign, it's karma. Long overdue. Treating people like pawns and using fame to bully and manipulate inevitably leads to a public unraveling.
Women that say that they are feminists and that they love women actually treat other women like crap. And Blake Lively is known to say, I'm a feminist. She's using that as an argument in this lawsuit. And she treated this journalist like absolute.
Even French President Macron's team gets pulled in, with threatening letters landing in Candace's inbox, exposing similar cover-up tactics. Meghan Markle adds herself to the spectacle, filming curated videos to appear relatable, while the public sees the elite's obsession with image and refusal to accept accountability. Candace connected the dots. Blake, Meghan, Brigitte, different names, same insulated, image-obsessed elite. The internet isn't buying their manufactured narratives anymore.
November 20th of 2024. It would follow that if you're going to subpoena people, you're going to need messages that took place before you filed the lawsuit saying that it already happened. But look what they're...
Real journalists and critical thinkers have shown that Blake's so-called smear campaign was a lie. When Brian Friedman, Justin Baldoni's lawyer, dropped bombshell receipts exposing Blake's bullying and behind-the-scenes antics, public opinion shifted organically. No conspiracy, no hidden cabal, just facts. Blake wasn't the polished feminist icon her team paid Vogue to portray. She was orchestrating chaos, trashing reputations, and now scrambling to play the helpless victim. The truth always finds a way out. Blake's fantasy that Reddit users, YouTubers, and podcasters are part of a global anti-Blake cabal is laughable. As laughable as Ryan Reynolds thinking he's a marketing genius while his wife's legal strategy collapses into a public joke. Blake's entire legal fishing expedition is nothing more than an obsession with controlling the narrative. She isn't seeking justice, she's seeking damage control. That's why her subpoenas bizarrely demand texts about hair products, marriage scandals, and literally anything that could make her look bad. Blake Lively's carefully constructed Hollywood fantasy is unraveling, and the world is watching every chaotic, embarrassing moment. This downfall serves as a cautionary tale. Fame, privilege, and an obsession with image cannot shield you from accountability. The internet isn't fooled by curated chaos or manufactured narratives anymore. As her empire fractures under scrutiny, every desperate move she makes only fuels the narrative of failure. Ryan's silence and reliance on his Deadpool persona do nothing to salvage the situation, proving that even in Hollywood, karma eventually collects its dues.